Here at 6:31 this morning, millions of vaccine doses have been handed out across the Pacific Northwest. But are we falling behind the progress of other states? We'll show you what the data says this morning.
And of course, we're going to take you outside, talk a dark start to the day, and let you know why we're not seeing any light just yet.
Up with KREM begins now.
Well, welcome to Up with KREM. Great to have you with us as we kick off another work week. Well, are you feeling a bit sluggish this morning? Yesterday, we lost an hour for daylight saving time.
Washington lawmakers' approval to stay permanently in daylight savings time. Coming up in just a few minutes, our own Dana Marie McNichol will explain what else is needed to make that move permanent. But we want to check in with Jeremy for that look outside. Are you feeling that sluggishness, Jeremy, or is it, I mean, I'm feeling it now that we're thinking about it, I guess.
My coffee. I've never gone through my coffee this fast. There's nothing in here. Nothing.
Time for a refill. Treat yourself to some coffee this morning. Maybe fancy coffee.
Ooh.
Different than the sludge that we like to make.
Yeah, right? Like my first coffee in the morning, I'm like, more beans. I'm like a 1-to-1 ratio just to get up and have the energy I have on camera, but it's gone.
Yeah, of course, if we're waking up this morning, we know it's awful dark this morning because of daylight saving time.
Yeah.
Oh, preach. Our sunrise is now an hour later, which also makes it a little harder to get up in the morning. But then you throw in some cloud cover after a few sunny days. You add in a couple sprinkles on top, and boy, is it hard to get moving early on today. And that's exactly what we are seeing. 42 degrees here in Spokane and 42 degrees over in Coeur d'Alene as well. But look at that. It is thick clouds. That means even though we're just a half an hour away from sunrise, it's not really getting lighter because of some of those thick clouds overhead. And that's leading to some scattered showers. We're even seeing some of those develop right along the state line. A couple of those here on South Hill as well. So expect some light showers here in the next hour or so. And then eventually we are going to start drying out through the second half of the day. But we do hang on to those clouds. So yeah, it's cloudy and cooler as we start the work week. In fact, today we're looking at temps trending close to normal, which is the first time they've done this in a while. But if you like warm weather, I've got good news coming up in the full forecast. We're talking another run at 60 degrees.
Oh, I like the sound of that. Jeremy, thank you. Well, soon more people could be eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine in Idaho. Today, the Idaho COVID-19 vaccine group is pushing for vaccinations for people 16 to 44 in Group 3. Now, the committee is being asked to vote between two options. The first allowing people in that age range with one medical condition to be vaccinated first, and then based on supply, it would open to the rest of that group. Option 2 includes a slower rollout. It would open first for people 35 to 44 with a medical condition, then open to anyone 35 and older. Then it would open to people 25 and older with a medical condition, and then open to all people 25 and older. Now that process would repeat for teens 16 and older. Joshua Robinson joins us now with a look at the vaccine progress here in the Inland Northwest.
Yeah, Jen, of course, we're going to take a look at some of the latest vaccine numbers across our area today. And when it comes to counties throughout Washington and how many doses they have distributed, Spokane County is now the 4th county that's passed the 150,000 dose mark. We're looking at the latest data from the Washington Department of Health showing that Spokane has handed out just over 157,000 doses behind only Snohomish, Pierce, and King County, where, by the way, more than 737,000 doses have been handed out. Now, the latest average number shows that over the past 7 days, Washington has fallen just short of its goal to vaccinate 45,000 people, hitting 44,610 vaccinations per day. Now, this is some data I found very interesting. 45 of the 50 states in our country have now passed at least 30,000 doses given out per capita. That includes all of the states in the Pacific Northwest, including Washington and Idaho. But the 5 states who have failed to pass that mark are Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. So that brings up another question. How efficient has each state been at handing out the vaccines that they have? That's something we've been asking a lot here on Up with KREM, how well Washington and Idaho are doing compared to other states. So Washington has received more than 3.3 million doses of the vaccine, according to the CDC. And Washington has also administered more than 2.56 million doses of vaccine throughout the state. Both of those numbers good for 13th in the country. But more importantly, how efficient has Washington been? So we've been looking at Washington's overall population, adult population rather, and the state still does have some room for improvement. Only 27.5% of adults have at least partially been vaccinated. That is good for 28th in the country, so it's an improvement that we've seen over the past few weeks, but still in the middle of the pack. Looking across state line, though, this morning in Idaho, nearly 672,000 doses have been delivered to the state. That's good for 40th in the country. Idaho has administered just over 550,000 doses. That's good for 39th. Now, in terms of efficiency, we look at the percentage of Idaho's adult population who've gotten at least one dose of the vaccine. Well, at one point, you might remember, Idaho was at least the third least efficient state in the country. So even though this 25.4 number is 42nd in the country, it is a sign of improvement.
Taking a look at what's trending this morning. Now, if you felt a little sleepy this week, you're not alone. Yesterday, we moved forward 1 hour into daylight saving time. The change happened at 2 a.m. local time across most of the United States. Last year, Washington lawmakers approved permanent daylight saving time. However, the state can't do away with standard time without congressional approval. Federal law allows states to opt out of daylight saving time and stay in standard time. It doesn't allow states to be in permanent daylight saving time. Now, there are three options that could allow Washington to observe permanent daylight saving time. 1, Congress could pass a bill allowing states like Washington to make the change. 2, Congress could pass a law making the change to every state at once. Or 3, the U.S. Secretary of Transportation could authorize the change. Supporters of the year-round daylight saving time argue that switching clocks negatively impacts our health. The Mayo Clinic says it's because sleep loss impacts our mood, alertness, and memory. Studies show in the week after daylight saving time, there are more deadly car wrecks. It also shows heart attacks increase. So this morning, we're asking you for your thoughts if Washington staying in daylight saving time is a good idea. Text us 509-448-2000. We'll throw your comments up coming up.
All right, Dana Marie, thank you so much. Well, Washington is moving to phase 3 of reopening in just 1 week. After the break, Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward will be joining us live. We'll talk about the changes and Eastern Washington's influence on the decision.
And temperatures are taking a dip as we kick things off this Monday, but don't worry, they're on the rise. I'll let you know when we get back up near 60.